Did we help you guys fix that along the way?
How would you do that?
When we came last time and we were able to walk through a lot of places. I realized that they put up some signs.
I'm going to tell you what, and for everyone watching, it's because of you. It's because, I'm telling everyone's watching. It is strictly because of that incident that now everything is properly identified.
We helped clear some things up.
100% correct. There's no shame in that, right?
It's awesome to hear that.
You actually righted a wrong, an inefficiency. 100%.
You know what? Let's not even waste any time with the introduction and hop right in. Today we're at the LA Police Academy with Wrights Crispy, San Joaquin Valley Transparency, Nate Skates 182, and San Joaquin Jr. We're doing a follow-up audit because last time we were here, we had a record-breaking audit with J Surreal Camera and East Los Audits joining us at the time. We had 22 police officers called during that incident, so we're back again. I'll show some clips from the last time we were here to refresh your memory. Let's check it out.
No ego at all.
Yeah, you brought a lot of ego out to us, man.
Don't come talk to me and expect me to just take it.
No, actually, you came started asking us questions, man.
Yeah, because you're at my place of work.
And then you start saying things like we don't belong here.
My wife at home.
You're actually very contradictory, sir.
Let me ask you a question. You know the First Amendment, right? What is it?
Well, as far as freedom of press, freedom of assembly, freedom to gather, freedom of media, there's a whole bunch of things encompassed in this.
Right.
So what facets of
Okay,
the amendment?
you are one of many officers in our videos that can state it. Many officers throughout the country don't know the First Amendment. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. The people, our kids, they don't know the First Amendment. They're not teaching them in school like they should. Okay, they're not even teaching kids cursive writing because the Bill of Rights was written in cursive writing. Okay, we need to really preserve the First Amendment. Maybe we're not liked because of the way we look or whatnot. Or check it out. Maybe sometimes you guys think that you work for the mayor and they're your boss, but we are the people. We are our own boss. And check it out. Yeah.
Right? There's
Yeah.
a structure in which I have to work the same way anybody does.
Yeah.
But there's also, I understand, my purpose of a police officer is to serve and protect the public.
Yeah.
That's my ultimate goal.
Why don't they have them on the vehicles anymore? Why'd they take them off?
I believe it's still there, sir.
A lot of them are. They're taking them off.
Take a look, sir. I believe
All right, we'll check that one out. Wow, guys, look at what we got here. Damn, look at that. This is crazy, dude.
Why does it always seem like the trucks start?
Wow, look at that. Now let's count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22 so far.
Everybody, let's go.
Buckle bounce. Have a good one, man. Thank you. Hey, I gotta say, man, I really appreciate you. Thank you for talking to us, man.
And honestly, I think someone didn't know knows if the helicopter saw something. But look, everyone's gone. No biggie.
That was amazing. Honestly, that was kind of cool. You gotta understand, I'm not about this whole thing about like as far as like making you guys out to look bad. You guys can do that on your own on my videos, okay? I'm not when I say you guys, officers, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, but you know, I mean, you make very good points, man.
And I mean no disrespect.
Right, I know you don't.
I love having the conversation. I was a professor before I came out of that, so.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, man. I'm gonna give you my card. I usually don't do that.
Yeah.
But you've been cool. Hey, you leave me some comments and maybe you can help me get better at this, right?
I would love to. Let me ask you something. Gentlemen,
Yeah.
my name's Tom. Look, I'm trying to bridge this gap between citizens and cops. I've been trying to do this for a long time. I launched a podcast. You ever
Nice.
think about coming on and maybe talking?
I got a podcast. We'll do it together.
Okay.
Email me. It's on there.
Email you and let's start making.
Let's do this.
Right?
Let's do this. I like that. This guy's cool, man. Definitely cool.
Appreciate you thinking so.
I do, man. I know so. All right, man.
So I want to start this follow-up clip by saying rest in peace to J Surreal Camera. Due to the work that we did last time, we had these signs put up all around the facility. And we tested these signs one more time by entering the location and filming the parts that we didn't get to see last time. And sure enough, while we were taking a tour of the place and filming the parts that we didn't get to see last time, we ran into Officer Tom again. And we ended up having a pretty productive conversation. And I know you're going to like it, so let's check it out. Oh, there he is.
Is that you, Sergeant Tom?
It is. I was hoping.
Man.
Someone said there were people filming. I said I'm gonna go check.
Yes, sir.
How are you guys?
Good.
Oh my God, it's nice to see you. Happy New Year. Can I shake? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm good, man. It's good to see you. How are you guys?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. sir. Happy New Year. See, I knew it. I said, I hope San Joaquin. What's going on?
I've seen you on the interweb.
Every now and again. I really would like to do the podcast.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good. I think it'd be beneficial.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
I think we now, however you want to do it. If you want to do it on your platform,
right.
Obviously it'd be great on mine because I'd get all the bumps because you're much more popular than I am. but I would love it because.
What's your podcast?
It's called Policing in America.
Policing in America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and I just did one actually with. I'm doing a whole series this season on media.
Okay.
Media and policing and everything. So
Cool.
this would be perfect to get you in.
Yeah, let's do it. I think
As-
I'm ready now, man.
You were ready before. And I see your stuff, and I'm telling you, it's. I wish I could just talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I wish I could give everybody some kind of advice. You know, but it's. I mean, look, this is an important function in a democratic society. We need it. Checks and balance. Without accountability, what are we?
Yeah.
Right? We turn into, a rule by monarchy, a rule by fiat. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Right? I certainly don't want that. But you have my info, right?
I think so. Send me another email.
I'll send you an email, and I'll do it on your time, on your schedule.
All right, let's
However,
do it.
because get people, have them. Now you were going to do like a live event. Have them call in questions, and
Yeah, we usually have a chat there, and if you've seen his channel, you see it's fair. So
yeah,
you
I
have
agree.
a good platform.
I agree, and I think it'd be cool. And I think I had a decent, I don't know.
Interaction?
Yeah, I had a decent
Yeah.
interaction with some of the folks because I actually responded
Yeah.
to some of the people, and I was like, yeah, this is good. Like, it's important, and they bring up good questions, and there's reasonable. Like what I see with this isn't unreasonable.
Yeah.
They're especially with your stuff, it's not antagonizing. You've grown a lot too. Like the work you're doing has become really significant. So you let me know. I'll send you an email.
All right.
It'll come from the Policing in America podcast email.
All right.
Okay.
But-
I'm rightscrispy@gmail.com.
What is it?
Rights Crispy.
Okay. Is he part? Are you on the same?
Well,
if I
we
see his
are,
friend.
both Americans practicing our First Amendment.
No.
rights.
What I meant was, are you part of his network?
No, I've
You're
created
your
my
own network.
Bang.
Oh.
Bolt Action News Group.
Oh, that's kind of cool. There was another gentleman who was here.
Yeah, I remember him. He's a smaller channel.
Smaller channel.
Yeah, a newer channel.
Yeah, newer channel.
That's where I saw you.
Oh, is it
asking
really?
to do the podcast.
Oh
on
my
there,
God,
yeah.
it's crazy.
And I came
Yeah.
from Florida just to come out here.
Did you
and-
really?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you do this in Florida?
Yeah, well, I do this all over the
All
United
over the
States, but
States?
mostly the Southeast, Georgia, Alabama.
I bet there's a lot of
I've-
content there.
Yeah,
Holy
I
moly.
got arrested 3 times in as many states in 2020.
For this, basically.
For this. It's all thrown out, of course, because I'm not a
Of
criminal.
course it is.
I'm a commercial realtor, and that's what I do. I do well by doing good in my day job, and this time off is precious. We have to do our civic duty.
Absolutely.
And we asked some cops in Bakersfield yesterday. I'll ask you the same question. Do you like working with bad apples?
No.
Then help me help you.
Yes, 100%. 100%. And there's so much we could go on.
Yep.
There's work by a psychologist. His name is Zambroni. I always mispronounce it. But he even talks about it's not just the bad apples, it's the bad barrels.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the way the barrel shape that presses up against the apple, right? So he does this whole visual, conceptual framework of it. And we can expand the barrel. Right? A barrel is like a silo.
Exactly.
Open the barrel up and let everyone interact. I know it sounds cheesy, but I mean, it's like a conceptual
but
framework.
there are good policemen
Yeah.
who are doing this job, and they're ordered to do bad work. What do you feel about broken windows policing?
So it has been completely taken and twisted.
Yeah.
This is the problem, right? Like a
Where
lot
it was
of
for
good.
deterrence, now it's for instilling fear and
Right.
disproportionately enforced.
And so what I try to tell is, and I appreciate you even let me talk about this. What I try to say is it takes a different kind of energy to get the plane up in the air than it does to keep the plane. Right? So maybe broken windows took a certain inertia because crime was a certain
Right.
way. Then we got some kind of control. We got some kind of a control on crime. And it's like, okay, I don't need the same inertia to get the plane up. I now need a different type of energy. So maybe broken windows had a place,
Right.
and
in New
it got
York
us
City
to somewhere.
and Giuliani, and that needed to be cleaned up.
Right, because it was.
successful, right.
Yes.
Now you guys invented SWAT right here.
That's right.
Now,
Yeah.
how do you feel? Did you put a copyright on it? Because everybody's SWAT now. There's no SWAT. Everybody's militarized.
It's so interesting you say that. Yeah, I don't know why it's become that way. And I don't know if it's a product of the guns in the country, because we got a gun problem. I mean, we have an enormous problem with guns. I'm not saying against Second Amendment, but I mean, just they're everywhere.
No, yeah, and you have to be prepared, right? But
and you see these shootings, and I don't know, is this the result? Like, are we following?
Are you saying that an armed society is not a safe society?
Say again.
Are you saying that an armed society is not a safe society, would you say?
I like the idea of being armed, right? Because if you go back and back, the whole reason why people in power were able to get there was because of the lack of arms. So I like the idea of an armed society, but I like the idea of like a reasonably armed society. Say again?
I'm going for a tissue.
Oh, thank you. I trust. I completely trust you. Like but these are good questions, though, right? Because what does it mean to be armed? Does somebody need an AR-15, fully automatic, or does somebody need?
It always goes to that. Questions. I had a friend who asked me, "What do you want? A bazooka next?"
Right.
Well, I have a friend who not only had a bazooka, but every kind of small arms you can imagine. Tripod, all from World War II all the way up to now.
Yeah.
And he had tanks. He had a MiG-25. He had a Huey helicopter. He had all this stuff in working condition.
Wow.
And he made a museum out of it. He's a retired Marine. And he owned this stuff all legally because of our Second Amendment right. And when he passed away, I was the president of our Rotary Club, and we tried to save that place. And it cost over $100,000 a month to keep everything running. And he would pay that out of his own pocket. He was a multimillionaire. And the mechanics would go and get beer on the tanks at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course.
And inside, he had an actual submarine periscope that would go through the roof of the warehouse, and you could see the MiG out on the parking lot. And I mean, so there's no unabridged. Unabridged.
Unabridged. Yeah.
But it's a well-regulated.
See, there you go. There you go, right? I don't want them just out everywhere. But I would like some kind of regulation, just like any other facets of our society. Regulate it to a point that allows people to get it. But how about we train people to that? We make you go take driving tests.
Force training, though?
Say again?
Is it like a force training type of thing?
Well,
I thought about that too. Like just like your concealed weapons permit, you have to go to a training class, right?
Yeah, you have to show competency, right?
But that would mean that you would need to go register. You'd have to go, get some kind of license saying that you've been trained. And that makes people more reluctant to giving up their name and stuff like that.
Because now they're on a database.
So, with criminals, they don't care about gun laws. Criminals, they don't care. That's why they're criminals. They'll go out. They're going to get a gun anyway. Absolutely.
100%.
So the only ones that are going to be restricted at the end of the day are going to be law-abiding people. The people who follow the rules.
So I had to go and I had to get a license. What happens when they turn me down? They say no. I think I'm going to red flag you for some reason. You know what I mean? Because you film police.
I wonder if there's here. Look, let's start solving problems. Maybe we come up with a bipartisan committee or a commission, something that's outside the boundaries, something that has
members of the community.
Yes, bring people together and make a commission. We have we have the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, and it's U.S. Commission, so it has sort of a government kind of vibe to it, but it's part of civilians who are during their day job. They're real estate agents and they're lawyers and they're construction workers, but they come together to go over these civil right instances. Now there's crime, right? So we have law enforcement, but then there's civil right instances. Like you have a right to freedom of expression, but do I want a Nazi flag in a window? How do we handle this? How do we make everyone feel safe and included? And so you have these commissions that deal with these things. I think the old expression is, I don't know what I don't know. Yeah. Right? So I don't even know where the answer is because I don't know. But if we get all of us together, we had, like the last time we had a talk, man, there were so many things that you brought up, and I think these are good questions.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to bring something else up.
Go.
I will no longer be calling you Sergeant Tom.
Okay.
Because Sergeant is a military term.
Okay.
So we got to start figuring out a way to address you guys. Maybe Assistant Manager Tom, or something like that.
You call me Tom. Call me Tom.
Regional
it's always interesting, and this is one of these things in law enforcement that I think is there are traditions for the sake of tradition. The name is Datro, right? Which is so clinical. Call me Tom. But what do they say? Well, no, it's professional. How many people walk around just addressing people by their last name? Right, and this is what we do internally. All Gonzalez, Gutierrez, Datro, Smith. Like, how about Tom and Jane and Kim? Yeah. When I talk to everybody, I use Sergeant Tom because of the podcast, and I wanted to get like kind of a niche. You know, like, hey, come call Sergeant Tom. So I thought
Bowie
it'd be kind of cool.
All the Bowie fans coming over.
Bowie? Oh, that's so funny. I didn't even think about that. But you're right though. Like when I'm in the field, Tom, always. Hey, I'm Tom. I don't address myself by sergeant. That's a certain position I hold in an organization. But to you, it doesn't matter. You want equal treatment. You want equal enforcement. You want equal service. My rank is irrelevant to you, right? So this rank to me is an internal process by which I can help cops.
That's a fundamental core value of policing in the community policing.
Yeah.
Be a human being. If you're traveling from another county and just earning a paycheck here, you don't care what happens.
Absolutely.
But if you live here and you disrespected my friend's wife or something, he sees you at the diner, hey, what happened? Why'd you do that to my wife? You know you have no reason to talk to her like that or ask for ID. It's her Fourth Amendment right to be secure to people.
Right.
You know about all that, right? We talked about that. Well, we'll leave some stuff for the podcast.
I tell you what, I like that you are all so, I'm going to tell you, man, I like that you're so knowledgeable on the Constitution, on these rights. It is a lot. I feel like the civics in general, the general population, not just us, but the general population doesn't know.
Right.
People ask me all the time, hey, if a cop says this, I'll say, you don't, unless they tell you very specifically, hey, look, I'm detaining you for these reasons. But otherwise, you have no obligation.
Lawyers and judges don't know either. There's a peer-reviewed study, I'm mentioning it, it's by a lawyer who wrote this paper, and he did an extensive deep dive on the First Amendment audit community from everything that our supporters say, everything that what we call the bootlickers say, and all the terms like, why don't you just let them do their job? Why don't you mind your own business? This is our business. You're getting paid,
100%.
right? You know?
Yes.
So
this is your business.
The point of this paper was to introduce this to the courts and understand that we have real-world first-person application of these laws that are being fought in the courtroom, but these are actual real-life situations that we've had to deal with, and you see how it's applicable. Our freedom of the press. It doesn't have to be working for NBC. You don't even have to be a tax-paying citizen. If you came here from Poland right now, you have freedom of the press here. You're protected.
See, this is good stuff. Right?
Think about that. If you come and you travel from a different country and you want to see the LA Police Academy, you should be free to walk through here. This is all paid for by the public.
It is public funding. You're 100% correct. Now, this just for some.
My kids don't pay taxes, but they should be able to come in here and see.
By proxy of the parents who do. Now, this is an interesting sort of quasi campus. What you have here is a private organization and the public. So you have the LAPD, but then you have this place called LAPRAC, Los Angeles Police Athletic and Revolver Club. So it's LAPRAC. So it's meshed in together. So like that gym, that's LAPRAC's gym.
I can't work out in there.
Right, it's LAPRAC's. It's in the weight room, LAPRAC's. It's actually a private, it's a non-profit, but it's its own company.
And in the public forum doctrine, that would be a limited access public forum and a limited public forum, and you can set up your rules and everything. It's not.
Did we help you guys fix that along the way?
How would you do that?
When we came last time and we were able to walk through a lot of places. I realized that they put up some signs.
I'm going to tell you what, and for everyone watching, it's because of you. It's because, I'm telling everyone's watching. It is strictly because of that incident that now everything is properly identified.
We helped clear some things up.
100% correct. There's no shame in that, right?
It's awesome to hear, though.
You actually righted a wrong, an inefficiency. 100%.
There's a firehouse in Florida. They got a new kitchen because of our cameras. We went through there.
Really?
The people in charge saw that. They're like, these firefighters are cooking in that dump. You know?
Get out of here.
They renewed their kitchen.
I love this good stuff. So here's what I'd like to do too. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to see if I can facilitate this. So we do our conversation, we do our talk, however, our forum. In the gym, what we're working on now, and this is, again, a quasi-public private enterprise, they're making a VR system in there. Okay. I would love to have a VR system where cops can get used to talking with First Amendment auditors, with people that do this.
I want them to get used to ignoring us and letting us do our job. We're not going to tell you how to do your job. Don't tell us how to record. We don't want to cause a problem. We just want to document.
Like we could create 5 scenarios. Hey, in this one, ignore. On this one, because there are some that aren't as professional as you.
And they're trying to get, they're testing your ego.
Yes.
And that's necessary. It's important.
Because you want to show self-control.
We have all different
de-escalation. De-escalation is important.
Yeah. What do you think about this, man? And that will lead me to my next question. In a lot of our videos, I began asking cops if they knew the First Amendment of the Constitution. Right. We began to see a pattern that a high percentage in the high 90s don't know it. So that means when I started researching on Google for videos of cops who get sworn in, they're not actually saying it because they don't know it. They're repeating something that somebody else is saying to them. So that, in my opinion, that's a huge embarrassment. Does that make this whole policing a sham? Or should we completely try to fix that and make cops actually know what they're swearing an oath to? And a lot of people don't know how the Constitution works.
Yeah.
These documents, the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, they mirror our natural rights. Those documents don't give us our rights.
That's right.
Those documents limit the scope of authority that you guys have over the people.
Yes.
That's why those documents are important on our end, and I believe that's why a lot of government officials don't want the people to know it, because there's a lot of propaganda, a lot of stuff out there. Right. Just comply. Just comply. Just do what a cop. Just do what a cop says.
I'm guilty of this.
But let me add to this. Let me add to this really quick.
Yeah.
The propaganda is for us to just comply, right?
Yes.
But at the end of the day,
I'm just coming in so I can hear you.
Right. At the end of the day, cops will say we don't have to know all the laws. There's just too many of them in the books. And but at the same time, they tell us ignorance of the law is no excuse. So you see how this is a double-edged sword coming from?
I could see the argument. The argument's reasonable.
Yeah. And I tell a judge, I want to use my First Amendment right as a defense, and they're like, no, that's going to be contempt of court. I'm here because of contempt of court. I'm here because a cop doesn't think that your time is precious enough to be spent on actual criminals and wants to waste it with me in here who's not a criminal.
So
that's contempt.
Is it a waste of time to teach cops the actual oath that they swore? Because
valuable.
So that leads me to my next question.
Yes.
Since I've been here, is there any kind of class or anything that teaches cops actual First Amendment, at least the First Amendment, so that before they're handed the gun and the badge and thrown on the streets? Because I believe that makes it dangerous, not just for the people, but for the cops as well. Because what if they're trying to demand ID from somebody who doesn't want to give it up because that person knows they have those rights?
So this is good, and think about as we're filming as an edit, because this would be a great spot for the podcast. But since we had that talk, I had conversations with other people and said, hey man, these guys bring up good ideas. And he alluded to me, he said, ask your police officers, I swear to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of California, right? And it doesn't say anything about enforcing laws, it doesn't say anything about getting guns off the street, right? I swear to uphold and defend. And then you ask cops, so then just tell me, get ready, because we could do this on a podcast. What does Article 1 say? And when I tell you 100% don't know, I'm not exaggerating.
Right.
When it was asked to me, and I didn't know, I said, that's embarrassing, right? That's embarrassing. Like, how don't I know this? Because it was never impressed upon me of this idea. So I have started doing it. And a lot of it was with your talk, and so that initiated another conversation. So these dominoes kind of hit, right?
They're teachable. Some of these badge-heavy hotheads are not teachable, and they're never going to learn. No matter how much we drill it into them, they just want to go out there. It attracts a certain personality.
How do you think we got here? How do you think we got here to this state where the people don't know it and the cops are not really being trained? You think it was by design or by accident?
I think it's an unintended consequence of a slow erosion. You know, it didn't happen overnight, right? It was kind of like, we're going to go right here, we're going to go right here. And after 30 years, we're all the way over there. Yeah. And it's just a slow erosion of what we do. It's almost like, why do we get called for mental health? I'm not trying to jump ship or deflect, but I mean, right? But all of a sudden, we're the main people going to these things. And that was a slow erosion. Because there was a time when we would say, that's not a police matter. We're not going, but now that's changed. And now we find ourselves like, okay, we'll take that call. Okay, we'll handle this. And now we find ourselves the primary person coming to de-escalate someone who's in a mental crisis. Right. And all our techniques of calibrated questions and active listening might not work with somebody who's experiencing a true mental crisis.
And then triggered by a uniform and a badge and a gun, you know?
And we're taught command presence, and we're taught these things that are contradicting to human interaction. And nobody wants command presence. When you and I are talking, we want nice tone, we want respectful dialogue. So I'm all for it.
I did a video on a veteran who was visited by, just as a malicious retaliatory move by the VA, he pissed somebody off over there, and they sent the cops to him. And the cops were uniformed and armed. Neither one of them were veterans themselves. And then the home health person or whatever.
So there was two Orange County Sheriff deputies, and they came in front of the therapist that was behind them. And so the guy's like,
you can't just sprinkle in a therapist there and make it okay.
No, the guy's like, what's going on? And so the therapist is trying to talk to this guy and through his doorway with these two deputies standing in front of him. And then he's very standoffish because he's like, well, I have 2 guys with guns right here on my front
Right,
door.
right.
So why would I even open up to you if that's a possibility?
And we don't see that because it's the fish that's in the fishbowl that doesn't understand. Like there's a whole world outside of that bowl, but we're so siloed.
And you're spread too thin to be handling that too. Yeah, you don't need to handle it. We need to have more mental health care places
and we need
that
more
are professionals.
Yes, and we need these talks. I'm telling you, I want to create virtual reality scenarios. In perfect world, you guys help me create these things. Right? Perfect world. Hey, Tom, let's do some of these scenarios, and then you can watch police officers respond. And then when we debrief, you can say, "Listen, gang, I see what you're doing. This idea of authority, it's not going to fly with people like us who know these things. So let me show you, or let me teach you on how to use this verbalization." Well, like that's a productive training session.
Contrary to some popular belief, we actually want to be a part of the solution, not the problem.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? And it takes these kinds of conversations.
Yes.
Even the antagonistic guys.
The other day, I did a podcast with David Nino Rodriguez. He's an ex-former boxer champion.
Okay.
And he does a lot of good interviews. And I was on his podcast. If you get a chance, go check that out.
I will, yeah.
And a lot of his support base is back to blue.
We started
the interview with, "Hey, I back the blue. A lot of my family is law enforcement, but a lot of the topics that I touched, for instance, military titles.
Yeah.
Should we find a way to change that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different topics that we touched, right? And it was very interesting. The positive feedback was amazing. David Nino Rodriguez, shout out to you, Nino.
If I can I search on podcasts for this?
Well, no, check it out on YouTube. Find him on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, YouTube. I won't remember. So let me go to YouTube right now while we're doing this.
Sure.
And his name is
37 fights.
Type in David Nino and you'll see it.
N-E
N-I-N-O.
N-I-N-O. David Nino Rodriguez. First thing that comes up.
Subscribe. Go back.
Doomsday Strikes Closer. Scandal Panda. Which one is yours? Or if I just go to this, I'll see you.
Hit the channel right here.
Hit the channel link.
And then you'll see the video, the one I did with him.
What video?
This one. Bam.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Make sure you subscribe to him. Man.
Absolutely, I will.
Yeah, and check out his 6th fight. He knocked the guy out in like 30 seconds. It was a great
I'm hitting
knockout
pause
fight.
on this so I have it. See, this is good because that's how I learn too.
Right.
Right? That's why, it's funny because I hear your voice because I see the videos and it's weird that I'm talking because I hear that voice so much.
But just what you just said right now, that's golden. You can learn too. You're teachable, like I was saying.
Yeah.
I can let go of my ego and say, I swore that same oath to the Constitution, but I didn't know. I was 17 years old when I didn't know what I was doing.
Right. You
but
look
I've
at it,
educated myself. And the day I don't learn something is the day I quit.
100%.
And when I get proven wrong, that means I learned something.
This is,
Let
I
go of
try to
the
teach
ego.
these cops. Look at, and I use the visual, right? So this is me, and that's something I don't know. Once I learn something and I'm on the other side, I'm a better version of myself. Even if it's just a minute better or a 1% better. This person here who now knows that is just a little bit better. But I feel like there's an inherent human, what would you say?
Pride.
Like they don't want to be showed that they're wrong.
Right.
In this profession, it's really difficult. People don't like to be wrong.
And they don't like to be pointed out that you don't have any authority over me until I commit a crime.
I see it in the videos, right? I see it.
Yeah, I actually don't throw my weight around, but I'm your boss right now. I am the people that you're supposed to serve.
100%.
Right? But
yeah.
I don't sign your paycheck, of course not.
Right,
but
right.
I do pay your paycheck. And you say, oh, I pay taxes too. But imagine this analogy. A pickup truck is broken down. And David and I are, sorry, I didn't mean to dox you. We're pushing on the back of this truck.
Yeah.
And you're in the truck bed pushing on the back window, saying, I got this. I got this.
Interesting.
You're paying taxes with our taxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And
it's interesting, right? Because you're actually not pushing.
A two-income household, that's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're both police officers, you're both public servants.
Yeah.
That's our money that is running.
It's an interesting analogy. I've never heard that analogy.
And take that gift and appreciate it and understand what you've been charged to do. Your duty is to uphold our rights.
100%.
We have rights. You have
first
duties.
and foremost. Not make the arrest. Make sure your rights are not violated. That's because if I can't do that, there is no justice.
Did you know that you were part of a record-breaking First Amendment audit?
No.
Most cops called when the first time we were out here with you.
Okay. No.
Yeah, I think both of these guys were with me.
Yeah.
We had East Coast Audits and we had Jay Surreal Camera, who's no longer with us. He passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He was the buffer dude.
Oh, yeah. I remember him very well.
Yeah, he was
passed
very
away,
nice.
huh?
Yeah, passed away.
I'm sorry.
But we managed to raise 12 grand for his kids in 2 days.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Just off the channel?
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, we changed the ending of his story.
That's phenomenal.
Now we're friends with his son and stuff like that.
Really?
He's taking over the channel.
So when you say it was like record breaking, just so I have some scale, what does that
In
mean?
Georgia,
Most cops called on one First Amendment audit.
I had 20 before that in
Yeah.
Georgia at a prison. There were 18 prison guards came out and a couple of cops. There was 20. But then 22 came out here.
I think it was more than that because we had some up.
Oh, because of the one guy who got mad at the kid. Was it one of you guys that were by the car and you had like you and I were having a talk, right?
Yeah.
And then some other stuff went sideways.
Yeah.
Was it you, young man?
No,
okay,
it
was
It
okay. But
might have been
they
Islos.
got into
Might have been
something, and I
Islos.
remember you'll see it on the video. It's like, hey man, we were okay, but your boy fucked up. It was something like that, and I was like,
he was just looking in the car from
Which he
public,
could.
which he could,
Absolutely
and they
he
got all
could.
pissed off about it, so they called.
don't look at my car. You're like, what are you talking
There's
about?
so many things that we could do that are super annoying and frustrating and everything.
Yeah.
But it's legal, it's lawful. You don't have to like everything that is lawful.
Absolutely.
But you have to protect and defend everything that is lawful.
Absolutely. This is a safe space for them to do an orbit, or for them to say, hey, set up a perimeter. Right now, let's pretend you're going to be up here, and so they'll come because this is the academy.
Right.
So they will do training up here, so
Like
you
how to
see
find
it.
a circle in
Yes.
one spot. Gotcha.
Yes, and how the person who's up there has to like broadcast, because there's a
clear
pilot
and
who's
all that.
only doing piloting,
Right.
and there's somebody else who's talking on the radio, writing things down. Unlike your incident, they actually showed up. They had to work. They weren't trained on that day, right? Well, I'm having a nice time with you guys. I do have to get back to work, unfortunately. Is there anything I can do for you before I go?
No, like you were saying, we are looking for the good ones. I always say, let the stars shine and the snowflakes melt.
That's
You know,
interesting.
but
Cute.
it's
I
so
love
hard
it.
to find the stars shining.
Oh, it's so that hurts.
And
to
when they
hear
do,
that.
it's refreshing. And this is what we like. We want this.
I would
I
imagine.
want my kids to look at you with respect instead of fear.
Yeah,
You know, but
I
these
agree.
days, a lot of people are earning hate and fear for you in your ranks.
Yeah.
And frankly, I'm tired of doing this, Tom. 3 years now. Help me. Help
Yeah.
you. Get rid of those guys yourselves.
I want to
Stand up to the
and
thin blue line.
and also too, let's look at how we hire.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how we? Let me just chew some of your ear on some of this. We don't screen people in, right? If you want to get into Harvard, they're pushing everybody out and they're looking for the best.
Right, yeah.
Here in the department, we're screening people out, which is different. Oh, here's a reason why I shouldn't take you. Here's a reason why I shouldn't take you. Here's a reason. Okay, so you have no reasons why I shouldn't take you, so I'm just gonna take you. Like we don't look for the best. We look for reasons.
You've never
to
been
get people
caught
out.
doing anything wrong? You're our kind of guy.
Oh, that's a funny way of looking at it, right? That's a hard way of looking at it.
Actually, while you say that, it makes me think of something. What if you don't have to train people on the Constitution, right?
Yeah.
What if you tell them you're not getting in unless you know it? Then they'd have to go learn it on their own.
Let's
right?
look at a civil service exam, because everyone takes a civil service exam to get in. Let's add that to explain the Constitution.
Hell yeah.
Explain what it is. I would love that.
We might be making some real change here today.
Yeah.
Right? Could you
No, I mean-
imagine that in your civil service? And then the higher you go, regurgitate, give people a scenario. And then when they say, okay, read the scenario, is there anything wrong with what's going on? Like, no laws are being broken. No one's in any harm's way. This is a legal, lawful incident going on. No law enforcement action needed. Right? Like, I think we could change these
In
things.
my
Yes,
opinion,
we
right
do.
now is the perfect time as well, because you hear it across this country with other police forces. They say that, hey, our hiring numbers are really low.
You're right.
Our retention rate is really low. And it's like, well, we just got to start funneling people in. It's like, no, time to change it is now, when it's the hardest to get in.
Yes.
Start making these changes to where, hey, we are looking for the good qualities rather than, okay, you haven't done this, you haven't done that here.
24.
Okay, and so that one designates, do you want me to follow up on that with the city attorney?
Yes, please.
see
And
why?
that and the flag.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll take pictures of these so that when you go on that show, I can give you follow.
Yeah, definitely. Your change is cool. That's awesome.
So I'm gonna take a picture of this, and I'm gonna take a picture of this, and then I could follow up with you guys.
With us, but with everybody watching this too, man. Thank you.
Oh, of course.
That's who you're talking to right now, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, I appreciate you guys. Hello, young lady. How are you? Good. Congratulations on Sergeant. I didn't know. Good for you.
Assistant manager.
Assistant manager. Why, you know, she would know what that means if I were to say that. We just made that up now. It's got to take a while to catch on.
Right.
She was a young officer that I trained when she was like young.
Fantastic.
So I see her now with the 3 stripes. So I'm like, oh, I haven't seen you in 10 years, so congratulations. All right, I got to get back. It's good to talk to you guys. Thank you. All right, we'll be in touch.
All right.
And I'll have answers for you when we
Thanks for taking the time, man.
Absolutely.
It means a great deal to me, so thanks.
Thank you.
San Joaquin, San Joaquin. Yeah. Gotta watch 'em. We know the way that you coppin'. We don't give no option. Camera gon' shoot in 9 minutes. Keep that rollin', no stopping. They don't know nothing, we gon' teach them everything. By my country, everything. This my country, every day. False conviction, you got a power addiction. We on the road, me and the bros. Telling the story so everyone know. Send them to hell, little Nicky. San Joaquin, shout out the group. We gon' show the world, don't miss it. My whole team on a mission. My eyes wide open, I see everything you doing. We gon' check the law. I know my rights like I passed the bar. I'ma make sure you know yours and all. Home of the brave, free us all. Can't do it all and we standing tall. Only real criminals behind bars. Only real criminals behind bars. Oh, excuse me, mister.